the Chair of the Council of Governors, leading the big team of governors present in this meeting, the Right Honorable Speaker, leading the big team of senators present here, my friends, deputy governors, members of county assemblies, Your Excellencies, diplomats, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I said Murembe. The governor of Kakamega, my friend Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya, has alluded to the fact that I am a very good friend of Kakamega and I find a lot of time to come to this corner of our country. It is true. And I have very solid reasons why I do that. When you find your better half in a certain county, you obviously have fond memories and feelings about that county. When I came to pay dowry, I came to Likuyani, which is in Kakamega County. And my wife went to Likuyani Primary and went to Butere Girls. So, for those who have been looking for a reason why I'm hanging around here, you now have the perfect reason why, aside from the fact that I am just a neighbor. From here to my house is by road almost 30 minutes. So, and when you find such a good thing, as the Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing, you don't forget that place easily. But let me start by telling you a short story. There was once a big meeting in the animal kingdom to address the problem of drought. Speaker after speaker rose to give their views on how the problem could be solved. By the time the last speaker, the wise elephant, took to the podium, the animals were so tired, they could hardly remember what the first speaker had said. Others, like the proverbial warthog, had begun to forget what the meeting was all about. They just wanted to go home. But Elephant beseeched them, saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, lend me your ears. If you gazed skywards, you'd see that the clouds are gathering. If you sniffed the air, you would sense the unmistakable smell of an approaching torrent. And if only you could relax and allow your skin to perspire, you would be calmed by the cool humidity that precedes a much longed for downpour. Sometimes all we need is to relax and take it in the reality. The full benefits of devolution are yet to come, are yet here with us. But devolution is taking Kenya places. And I believe it. Devolution is taking Kenya places. And no one should know this better than the senators, the governors, and the MCAs, whose conference this really is. Consider such projects as the 46 irrigation schemes supported by the county government of Turkana, the 750-bed Kakamega County Teaching and Referral Hospital, the transformative education bursaries of Kwale County, the Universal Health Program of Makueni County, and many others so eloquently outlined in your speeches and plans. All these are driving Kenya to the same point of transformation that the national government works towards. Congratulations to all of you who make these stories possible. That is why, to us as a national government, devolution and its success is right up there in our agenda. The evidence for this lies in the 1.5 trillion which has been invested by government in devolution so far. And more is to come. In fact, it is immensely gratifying that the tone and the substance of this conference has been underpinned by our Big Four agenda, namely improved healthcare, expanding agricultural productivity, provision of affordable housing, and rebooting the manufacturing sector. From discussions here in the last few days, there is no doubt that we share the vision of building a healthy and productive nation through the provision of universal healthcare. This includes scaling up preventive measures like nutrition and public health education. With your help, we will achieve our target of raising the number of Kenyans to 13 million who are covered through the National Health Insurance Fund in the next 5 years. To achieve food security, we are jointly focused on significantly expanding agricultural productivity through comprehensive strategies spanning irrigation, mechanization, input provision, and value addition. Notably, we all want to give our people access to affordable housing. This entails cooperating decisively in demolishing barriers to affordability in land and construction costs in order to bring down housing costs. Together with this, we must scale up developers' capacity, unlock land for development, and initiate a demand-based master plan for social and affordable housing. Finally, both tiers of government must reboot the manufacturing sector by channeling resources to opportunities identified as holding potential to double the current number of manufacturing sector jobs and injecting an additional 200 billion Kenya shillings into our GDP. Here, inevitably, I must urge county governments to join the national government in aggressively implementing the industrial transformation program. I encourage you to quickly forward complementary plans which meet your unit's unique opportunities and challenges. This agenda is ambitious and daunting, but with consultation in line with the spirit of our Constitution, we will succeed. Like the elephant, mine is only to point out that we have embarked on a journey, and with your strong commitment, as reflected in your and your predecessors' speeches and development strategies, we are assured of a success. Our unity of purpose at both levels of government will surely raise Kenya's development trajectory. On behalf of the national government, I pledge our commitment to the intergovernmental consultative and coordination mechanisms in the spirit of total and firm support for devolution. And on behalf of the Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council, which I chair, I also pledge support for the initiatives geared towards accelerating sustainable development and uplifting citizen welfare. Distinguished participants, as we celebrate our milestones, achievements, and consensus, I urge all to regard challenges and setbacks as progress with calm and realistic disposition and to reflect thoroughly on ways of overcoming them. The first hurdle, budgeting and planning. Weak linkages between the processes have significantly impeded project implementation, resulting in low absorption of development funding. It has also led to delays in producing key budget legislation and caused misunderstanding between the units of government. The second significant challenge relates to the underperformance in local revenue collection. Less than half of all our counties, in fact, only 22 attained the average of 60% or above of their 4-year local revenue targets. Those which fell short have felt greater hit in the form of accumulated pending bills. As at September last year, county governments held 99 billion worth of pending bills. And I think it's good for us to, I agree with the sentiments so far expressed, that there is need to expedite release of funds to counties. That is a solid statement. But I also want to say here 2 things on that particular matter. Number one, we are a proud government that lives within our means. All the monies that we transfer to counties is monies collected from Kenyan taxpayers. And we do not have money, our budget does not have any budgetary support. We raise 100% of all our revenue to run both the national and county governments. And we have no intention whatsoever to delay even for a day or 2 when we have the resources. We must all have that understanding that it is not the intention of the national government to withhold funds meant for counties for any longer than we have the money. We all must understand that these are resources that we raise from taxes, and once those resources are available, we expeditiously transfer to counties. And secondly, year on year, we have faithfully, if we say the shareable revenue is so much, at the end of the year, we have no balances for the previous year that are due to any county. So we release all the money, even though there are delays within, but at the end of the financial year, all the monies are released to all the counties to the penny. And today, we do not have a debt with any county for previous year's dues. That shows you that we are committed. And lastly, the 99 billion Kenya shillings that today stand out as pending bills, how do you explain that pending bill if all the resources that were required for the previous year have been forwarded to you by the national government? It means these pending bills are accumulated as a result of a disconnect between the procurement process, that there is commitment by units in county governments beyond the resources that ultimately are due to them. And some of the time, it is because some resources that were expected from local revenue did not match up. So we need to scale up, pull up our socks in every aspect. Both at the national level, we will do the best to reduce the delays as we efficiently collect taxes in a better way, but counties should equally play their role by ensuring that they do not overcommit on resources that they do not have. Through the Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council, I have directed the National Treasury to liaise with the Comptroller of Budget and the Auditor General to assist county governments in resolving these financial matters. This effort should lead to a sustainable framework for expeditiously addressing any outstanding issues. The delay by counties in establishing effective internal audit departments to strengthen internal control mechanisms in compliance with Section 155 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012 is another serious challenge. This has led to unnecessary problems arising from delayed submissions of mandatory statutory reports. For example, the Attorney General's reports, which is the basis of revenue collection, and it is the source of the many negative press reports on counties. So if counties can improve on ensuring that proper documentation is done on resources that they spend, we would avoid the negative publicity that comes from Attorney General's reports because of missing documents and giving counties a bad name unnecessarily. The knock-on effect of this single omission is quite costly, especially to the ultimate beneficiaries of development planning, the ordinary citizens of Kenya. I therefore suggest that it is in the best interest of the counties to set up these financial structures to help counties better manage their finances. Finally, years into the formal advent of devolution, identification, verification, and validation of county assets and liabilities is incomplete. The Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council has approved establishment of county assets and liabilities committees to hasten the process. Congratulations to the counties that have successfully finalized the process. I urge those whose reports are outstanding to take advantage of the interagency support team to conclude the process by end of next month. I am suggesting that the challenges of devolution are not, I am not suggesting that the challenges are only one-sided. And on that issue of assets and liabilities, we were told by the Transition Authority that it would cost us 4 billion Kenya shillings to bring to closure, a process to bring to closure to assets and liabilities. Of course, we disputed. And governors here will remember, it was suggested that professionals, audit firms, and other entities participate in this process. We had a different view when we sat down as IBEC. And we then suggested that instead of professional firms, let us engage staff in counties, staff in national government county offices, and amazing that a program that was supposed to spend 4 billion shillings, the current budget is 10% of that budget. We can be able to conclude that process with 400 million Kenya shillings. In fact, I want to congratulate Governor Oparanya because Kakamega County has completed that process spending only 9 million Kenya shillings out of the 100 million they were supposed to spend. They have only spent 9 million shillings and the process is complete. And on top of identifying the assets that were in this county, they have identified another 5,000 properties that were not identified initially that now belong to this county. I want to encourage governors, especially those who are serving a second term. There are some counties, and I do not want to mention names, there are counties that to date, they have not set up the county teams to help in the identification of assets and liabilities, and they are dragging us back. They asked for 3 months. I approved only 1 month, because this is a process we should be able to complete within a month. By next month, we are expecting this program to come to a close, and we can protect the assets of counties that initially were with our defunct local authorities. I acknowledge that the National Treasury, Controller of Budget, and Commission on Revenue Allocation, and the Ministry of Devolution can ensure disbursement of funds faster. After all, the ability of counties to plan and execute their budgets effectively depends on the National Treasury's timely disbursement of revenues. Where delays occur, it is important to explain them in a timely and proper manner to enable counties make appropriate adjustments. To the national institutions responsible for capacity building of staff, I urge you to provide access to county officers, particularly in the critical operational areas such as preparation of budgets and financial reporting. Spending alone is not enough for sustainable development. Savings too matter. That's why I urge counties to also recognize and pursue increased domestic saving to strengthen economic growth. I urge the Council of Governors to work with us, for instance, and mobilize effectively to ensure that the county pensions bill successfully goes through the Senate. I promise that we in the executive will do our part. A lot of challenges reflect the crucial need for efficient coordination, capacity development, and conscious adherence to existing frameworks and best practices. This conference indicates that these needs can and will be met soon. Let us ensure that our consensus is impactful and resolutions efficient. Coordination must involve a broader spectrum of institutions. This is why I recognize the important work that Parliament, the judiciary, various commissions, and independent officers are doing to strengthen devolution. It is paramount that we invest greater energy in building efficient, effective, and accountable institutions. Devolution cannot be complete without a group of people crucial to this story and who rarely get acknowledged: members of the county assemblies. The principle goes: with authority comes responsibility, and with responsibility comes accountability. The greater the authority you have, my very good friends governors, the higher the responsibility, and the greater the accountability expected of you. So the title Excellency does not just come like that. Yes, it comes with authority. Yes, with that authority comes responsibility. And with responsibility, good friends, comes the imperative of accountability. And that applies not just in counties, but in the national government as well. And when I first became a member of Parliament in 1997, I met a seasoned legislator who told me, young man, then I was 31 years. He told me, the way to support a government is to criticize it when it goes wrong. That is the way to support a government. So sometimes when we are criticized, those of us in the executive, those who are criticizing us are actually our supporters. They just want us to do the right thing. MCAs are the representatives of the people, and we cannot celebrate the progress of devolution or contemplate its future impact without them. You may clash with them, they may not always let you have your way, but they are a crucial element in the country's democracy. Let us engage with them as partners and work with them to build progressive laws and achieve even more progress at the grassroots level. The relationship between the county governments and county assemblies is still young and malleable. We should all work on shaping it for the common good. Shortly, I will be launching the compendium of inaugural speeches. But first, I would want to acknowledge governors for documenting your vision for each county and for the people of Kenya. I applaud you, all of you, for the boldness of your visions, and I challenge you to execute them just as boldly as you have written them down. The result is an important instrument of accountability that contains materials of tremendous interest to many players. At the very least, one hopes that the compilation will become a reference point for robust citizen conversation and development matters. I am struck by the sense of urgency in your words and how much we have in common in terms of people-centered development plans. And while I talk about governors, the deputies are somewhere a critical component of any functioning executive in the counties. As a deputy myself, I want to tell, I have some advice for my colleagues, deputy governors. It is a difficult job. You have to balance between your ambition and serving your boss. And I want to tell you that supporting your boss, supporting your governor is not a weakness. It is actually a strength. And as a deputy governor, if you're willing to be led, it means you are material to lead. And I also want to tell our brothers, the governors, and sisters, sorry. My brothers and sisters, governors. The devil is a very bad man. And you know, the kind of loss and the kind of damage the devil can cause with an idle mind. So to avoid the great risk of the devil engaging idle minds in your offices because you have kept your deputies jobless is really risky. So please, it is important that the relationship between governors and their deputies is worked out so that the devil doesn't have a space to use any idle mind to drive any evil agenda. And I am not being specific on any situation. In fact, I want to caution you that it is unlawful to watch films that have not been sanctioned by the Kenya Films Classification Board. So, any reference to any films that were not authorized is reference to illegal material. So we should all keep to the straight and narrow and stay on the lawful end and corner. Let me also say that in the discourse that we have, very robust democratic conversation that we have about our country, whether we are looking at expanding the executive or we are looking at entrenching devolution, these are issues that can be prosecuted without engaging in billion-shilling referenda. There are issues we can sort out without reference to any referendum. These are issues we can deal with. And in any case, if there is going to be a suggestion on arranging or rearranging devolution, good people, it cannot be creating another layer. It should be taking the counties to the wards. It cannot be devolution upwards. It will have to be devolution downwards. That is where devolution needs to go. So, and that is a discussion that we can have, and we don't have to change the constitution to achieve that. In fact, you know, the challenge we have as a country is what the Chinese said, that a bad workman quarrels with his tools. You know? If somebody is a bad workman, he will try and blame, oh, it's the constitution which has a problem, or it is the county government which is the problem, or it is the county assembly which is the problem, or it is the this or that. Because he's a bad workman, he wants to quarrel with his tools and explain and get excuses to explain his failure. Let me tell you, we have built the standard gauge railway that has been there in the plans for 30 years. We didn't have to change any law. We didn't have to do anything. We just became focused, determined, and built it. The electricity we are talking about here, when we took over in 2013, 2.3 million Kenyans were connected to electricity. Today, 6.7 million Kenyans are connected to electricity, including these famous street lights we have in Kakamega, including the famous street lights we have in Sianda here, which I came to commission, including the ones in Malaba, to support a very good intention, not the one that is being talked about, on 24-hour economy. That is a very serious plan that we have to support economies in rural areas and make them, and I have personally seen the kind of transformation that has gone on in the towns that we have managed to light. What remains, good people? As you know, actions speak louder than words. Or as the psychologist Carl Jung would rather put it, you are what you do, not what you say you will do. As you proceed to execute your agendas, I wish you success and pray that you stand guided by Article 10 of our Constitution. In conclusion, I would like to pay tribute to all of you for your devotion to the success of devolution. Rest assured, you have a strong supporter of devolution in this administration. Let us all define our leadership through service, work, and delivery. The magic of devolution, after all, is in service delivery. That is what Kenya needs. That is what our people want. By the time this leadership term is over, we will be celebrating 60 years of self-rule. We are the ones, ladies and gentlemen, with the power to ensure that we have something to show for 60 years of self-rule. With those remarks, ladies and gentlemen, I now officially launch the inaugural compendium of speeches, which I will do shortly,